What is going on with you, my beautiful people, my family? It's your boy Caleb here at Midway Vibes Chinwag Podcast, and you already know we got another very special guest, someone who inspires life, who changes lives. Who without him we wouldn't be where we are. Like the whole world, we would be just lost. Honestly, this is my man, my teacher, my ex-teacher, a role model, a mentor, a friend, Jeff Perez.
Yo,
What's going on, man? I'm happy to have you here.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to be here. I saw a couple of your other podcasts, and
Yeah.
yeah, you got pretty deep, man. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's something. Sometimes it happens.
No, I mean, other than that, I mean, if not, it's a good laugh for sure. I had saw the one you did with your mom, the very first one, and you're talking about
Oh
your kids.
yeah.
And man, I feel you there. Like, yeah, I can't see it.
Yeah, for sure. I feel
It's
like
good.
that's definitely something that's not talked about often.
No, it's unheard of, man. People don't
Yeah,
even. It's,
yeah. But so for those of y'all who do not know, Jeff, is that okay if I call you that?
yeah, man.
Okay. I've never actually called him that. I usually just call him. So he was my football coach and my math teacher. So I would go from coach to Mr. to Grandmaster P. That's his name right there, Grandmaster P. That's my first time I think actually calling you by your first name.
Yeah, it might
Oh,
be actually.
so he is a teacher. He's an amazing math teacher, and he was my football coach my junior year. So I want to ask you, what is it that made you realize that you wanted to be a teacher and you wanted to like be in the math teaching field?
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people ask me that. Why math? Everybody hates math, or a lot of people hate math. It gets a bad rap. Well, I mean, it all started when I was younger, and so I grew up with two older brothers. My mom, single mother household. My dad would see us every other weekend, and so I mean, we didn't have too strong a relationship with my dad because we just didn't see him often. And I think I was 18 months by the time him and my mom separated, so I didn't have him around much.
Yeah,
That relationship, wasn't really strong, and I mean, it's better now, and that's really good. But for the most part, it was my mom and my two older brothers, and that's who we relied on. But my mom had to work a lot,
yeah,
and she was out of the house a lot. So I remember, man, even at a young age, I remember, and I grew up in San Marcos, Allenwood Homes. I don't know if anybody knows that, but it's government housing. And I remember sometimes having to wake myself up, old alarm clock, man. Sometimes I'd have to wake my older brother up because he didn't like school like I did. But yeah, sometimes even having to make my own breakfast, just go wait out the bus stop, man. I was eager to go to school. I think having authority figures or adult figures around to kind of mold me is why. Not, I mean, my mom, not that she didn't want to, it's just, she was working a lot.
yeah,
I kind of relied heavily on those teachers from a very young age. And a lot of them liked me. I was a good student. I was a typical student. I was very quiet. I guess smart. I was a traditional student.
yeah,
I would learn in the traditional setting. So I wasn't a troublemaker. That's why teachers loved me. So,
yeah,
but I mean, so I remember, you always get the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? And a lot of people, policeman, fireman, lawyer, doctor, whatever. And teacher was one that came up for me. And I don't know why at that young age I said I want to be a teacher, but I mean, now that I reflect on it, it probably was because I relied a lot on my teachers. And
yeah,
I guess I like the way they embraced me, made me feel special, I guess, and that's kind of, why I wanted to go that direction.
yeah,
But just seeing my mom struggle a lot with bills and everything, I just remember saying, promising myself that I wanted to make something of myself and go to college. And I wouldn't have made it to college without a handful of great teachers who showed me the way, showed me how to apply for colleges and scholarships, financial aid, all that good stuff. So
yeah,
after experiencing that and then math, because when we were in high school calculus senior year, I had a group of friends who just didn't know what the hell was going on, and I didn't know much either. But I would make the effort to go in, working with my teacher in tutorials, relearn the topic that I didn't learn in class in the first place, and then I come back and teach them, and then they could understand it because I was able to break it down better.
yeah,
And that made me feel good. I'm like, okay, cool. Like this difficult ass concept of calculus, I'm gonna break it down so my non-math friends get it.
yeah,
And that's kind of, I guess, why I lean towards math. Just it was the highest class I went in, and I didn't take much AP or anything other than math. So it was just that's kind of why I felt like I
Yeah.
could
Kind
take
of like
such
a
a
natural calling.
concept and break it down to make it
Yeah.
understandable for the everyday learner, I guess.
You can make it very understandable because I'll tell you what, I've had math and I really struggle with math. Like it's just not my subject. Like every year, like I'm either like tipping, failing, or I'm like barely passing, and I'm like going in like for tutorials, and I'm like, I hate this class. Like it's horrible. Like who, like why do we need this? Like that's my thought. And like I would still like manage like since I was going in for like help because I needed to pass because I was usually in a sport, so that like failing wasn't an option. So like I was having to pass. So I would be going in there. So the teacher would usually help me out, but like still, I didn't really learn. I just learned enough to get me by so I could pass. And it was just kind of like also a good amount of guessing, a lot of corrections. And then I'd say whenever I finally started, like you were my actual teacher, my junior, just junior year, right? Whenever you're my teacher, that was like I feel like when I finally learned, like I finally understood math and like I could look at a question and be like, okay, I think I know what I got to do, and it would actually be right.
Good.
You're able to break it down for sure.
Well, that was my goal. So.
Yeah, you've done pretty good at it.
Oh,
So what would you say has been one of your like biggest breakthroughs as a teacher, as in you personally and as teachers overall?
I mean, me personally, the little thing. It's the little things that kind of go a long way. So basically, everything you just told me is one of those things that kind of that makes me feel good because I was trying to that's what my goal was.
Yeah.
Your good friend Damien Chapa told me after in the middle of his first semester of college that what we had taught him was useful. How I taught him was useful because he was able to be so far advanced in the class. So those kind of things. Oh, okay, cool. At least you're able to apply it somewhere else. Another student at Prairie Lee, Eric, I remember, and I had him 8th grade year and 9th grade year, and it wasn't until 9th grade year when he finally grasped the concept of solving equations. And just that moment, he was like, I get it. And he was able to actually keep doing it. Man, he's one of those kids who has had bad experiences with math. I don't like to say students not good at math. They've just had bad experiences with math.
No, wait, what'd you say?
It's one of
What did you say that you don't like to say what?
I don't like to say students are bad at it. I'm like, nobody's bad at it. You just had bad experiences with math. So it's just, so he was one of those kids, and for him to, have that moment for such a difficult concept, because like you said, it's very abstract, and it's like, why do I got to learn this stuff?
Yeah.
For him to have that moment was like, okay, it's been a year and a half and it paid off. Like, I don't care how long it takes. And I told this to a student the other day, actually. If you learn how to ride a bike at 3 or 5 or 8, by the time you're 18 or whatever, I don't care. I'm gonna ask you know how to ride a bike. I'm not gonna care what age you were when you learned. If you don't, it's as long as you get it done. Doesn't matter how long it takes you to get it, just as long as you get it.
Yeah.
So just those little moments like that, as a teacher, or like I had a student, just Friday actually, which she was my very first day working with her. She just enrolled into the class to the school, and she was like, I've never had a teacher like you. And nobody has the patience like you do, like for me to be wrong this many times or whatever. And it was like, that's my job. Like, what the heck? Like, how have you not had teachers like that? Like, that's you're not supposed to come in. We shouldn't have the expectation, oh, these kids are going to know this. Now, yeah, you're going to know some things, but even then, I've had high school students who don't work with fractions, who barely understand the concept of multiplication, and it's like you got to kind of find a way to break the barrier. And kids who've been with those bad experiences in math, and to be able to get a concept like solving equations or just basic things. I say basic, whether advanced or not. So it's just working through those barriers and seeing them pay off in the long run is definitely a breakthrough personally.
And I would even say that like small steps are way better than like bigger steps, like trying to make a big jump, because like if you're climbing the ladder, it's way more easier to do it in little steps rather than having like a big step and you have to like pull yourself up.
Yeah, very true. Very true. It's building blocks. So
Yeah, for sure.
I would agree with you there. And you said breakthrough as teachers as in general, like
like overall.
I don't know if I got an answer for you there, man. It's
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot better teachers.
Very underappreciated. It's a very underappreciated job.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
goes to say like the very least.
and it's just, yeah, there's a lot to that, and I can say a lot on that. I think just the teachers who still have a passion for it, teachers who still have that excitement, that joy, and really want to make a difference in a student's life. They put up with the BS, man. They
Yeah,
do. It's tough because it's draining, man. It's draining mentally, and for teachers to be able to come in year after year and still have that is good. I remember after my second year, man, I was thinking about calling quits. I was gonna hang it up.
yeah,
It sucks because that's my whole life since fourth grade. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be a teacher, and it's like, shoot, man, after 2 years, I'm almost done. I'm out for the count, or down for the count. But I, yeah, just finding that passion, and it's not just about passion. It's not just about desire, because you even see a lot of good teachers still go hang it up, and it's sad to see just because of
yeah,
everything they have to deal with. But I mean, for those teachers who can find a way to manage, still care for themselves and take care of themselves and
yeah,
still give it their all for the students, so that's impressive. And we'll just see, man, because everything's looking a little, you know, I don't know, it's looking weird from here on out, especially with everything going on. But more
yeah,
and more in the field and less coming in. So we'll just have to see. But I do think, to some degree, and students, young minds can learn a lot through that phone, man. You can learn a whole lot online, and I still think that personal touch, that personal connection does pay off. Now, it may not have to be 8 hours a day, but having that sense of a teacher there with you in the classroom, just, with me all the time, it's like I'm getting, when I'm making a phone call and I got the operator or whatever, I'm like, talk to your representative, talk to your representative. Like, I'm tired of pressing these damn buttons, man. Like, as a student, like as a learner, like I just
yeah,
would much direct person to like ask the question to or whatever. But everybody's different. But
yeah,
yeah, I think it's a breakthrough for those teachers who are still giving it their all throughout,
yeah, for sure.
despite everything they've been facing. I mean, all the normal day-to-day stuff on top of the pandemic and whatnot. So
Yeah. It's like having like basically two lives that you have to live.
it's like having two what now?
Two lives.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like it's kind of weird. If I ever run into a teacher like in town, it's like weird. Like I'm not supposed to be seeing you here. Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be teaching.
Yeah, no, that's funny. I used to have a first grade teacher. My mom used to work at the corner store of my elementary school, and I remember she said on Fridays. Well, she told me this when I was older, but just about every Friday, right after school, he was in there buying him a six pack. But one day he recognized that it was my mom, and he was like, "Oh," and she's like, "I don't know, don't worry. You're only human. Like, yeah, I understand, whatever, but not everybody has that mindset, and it's good that you put it that way because yeah, I guess it could be weird at me. I mean, for the most
Yeah,
part, my students outside of school, like it's pretty exciting, like
yeah.
especially if I haven't seen them in a long
Yeah,
time.
that's what I hear. Like y'all get excited. Like every time I've seen a teacher, that y'all get like super excited, and it's like
Yeah,
it like trips. It used to trip me out. Like now, if I see a teacher, I get excited just because like I'm not in school anymore, and like my mindset's changed, and I get like excited. But like before, like when I was in school, I was like, "This is like, what are you doing? Why are you talking to me?"
yeah, no, for sure. No, I mean, especially as y'all get older and you're no longer students or whatever, you graduate. It's just cool to see, what you're up to and just, this and that. And, I still sometimes I'm in kids at HB. I happened over to break. I bumped into a kid from HB and it wasn't clicking in my head. Like, who are you? Like, I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
And then it clicked. So it's just cool to see them and see what they're up to now. And I like it. I like seeing that because, no matter what it is you end up doing, like, it doesn't matter as long as you're happy. Like, you don't ever have to prove anything to me. You don't ever, you don't have to be a rocket scientist, something like that, man. As long as you're living your best life, that's all I want to
that
know. Like, are
counts.
you
Yeah,
happy? What do you got going on, man? What you
yeah,
doing? What is your hustle, man? Because I need in on it. I need some
yeah,
help. My barber, my current barber, and I need a cut. But he's my former student, man. He's one of my former students from San Marcos, and I go see him. So it's cool to support him and
yeah,
what he's doing now after high school. So I like that kind of stuff, man.
yeah. That is really cool. That's pretty cool. I used to go to a barber, like I was stuck on a barber and I was like, this is my guy. And then I actually had someone that I used to go to school with in San Marcos. We didn't graduate together because I graduated from Perez, but we were like still in the same class and we knew of each other. He came to my shop and then he asked, he was like, if you ever want a haircut, just like let me know. And I was like, well, I need a haircut, so I'll probably let you know. I ended up getting a haircut, and it's been like one of the best things. Like the relationship we've built has been like so like it's like I don't even it's a really good friendship. He's like, and I would have never expected it. And it's like it's crazy what can happen whenever you like open up and you're like, okay, yeah, sure.
For sure, man. And I know I saw your podcast that you did with him. That was I listened to that the other day, and
Yeah.
that was one of the ones I was like, man, y'all get pretty deep. It's just cool to see two young kids, and I call y'all kids, y'all adults, but I call y'all kids, two young kids, man. With the growth mindset they all have, it's just incredible, man. And I don't know, it was a cool thing to see at such a young age, and I'm like, damn, like I wasn't when I was 18, 19, like I didn't have that kind of mindset, man. So it's really cool to see. But that's cool. You're right, and sometimes those really cool relationships come out of nowhere, and
Yeah.
never did you just say yes to an opportunity or whatever. Yeah, that's real cool.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I feel like in a way you're an amazing opportunity because like I totally could have just like shut you out in like class because like that's usually what I do with my math teacher because I was just like it frustrates me to be in class and like usually what they're saying doesn't make sense and then like when I try to get help it's like really super hard and like low key I'm not even gonna lie like I was like I was like a week in your class and I remember this very clearly it was like a week in your class and it was like mid semester when I joined and y'all were like kind of on something I was so lost and I was like fuck this. I just gave up. And I just sat there and I was like, get on my phone every now and then. And like, we are really strict on phones. So I couldn't really like just be open about it. So like, I was just really just like sitting there and you like came up to me and you're like, do you need any help? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then like, you helped me on the problem and you made it so easy. And I was like, there's no way this just happened. And then like, I think I did the page, like the whole page, like by myself. And I was like, I was real proud of that day.
Yeah, that's good, man. No, that's see, you never know what you're gonna do, man. But I mean, it was
Yeah.
cool with you. Like, that was you starting to coach that year, and we had our team, whatever. We're missing, a guy like somebody be a solid leader, a older guy, because we had a lot of youngins on that team. But
Yeah.
you come in and just you change that team in so many ways, on and off the field, just that character you bring with you. So, you didn't have to come back to Berkeley. You could have wrote it out at St. Mark's or whatever. We would have never had that connection. And I
Yeah.
wouldn't be here right now. So
Yeah, for sure. I would say my life would be very different if I didn't make the switch. I feel like having you and Coach Johnson, he was the football coach, the head coach, having both you on my lives at the same time, I think was the best duo like that I could have ever had. Just like needing that male figure in my life as a role model, and y'all played it perfectly, even better than I could have ever asked for, and I'm forever grateful for that because you changed my life in so many ways. You helped me with my math for sure. Because like math is not it. And you just helped me grow. You helped me look at life differently. And I know like you just helped me out. So I really appreciate that.
Well, you same to you, and I told you that before, man.
Yeah.
It's just as much as we bless you, sure, no doubt.
Yeah. So what has been some of your like favorite memories in teaching? Because I'm sure there's been some quite memorable ones, maybe that are like either for sure tell me some good ones, and then maybe tell me some that are you're like it was kind of like the tipping point, and you're like questioning teaching.
Oh man, I mean, I question teaching damn every day. No, I'm just kidding. I'm working for a really good administration this year, and last year I've been with them for the past 2 years, and it's been incredible. It's incredible change. The students a little bit different because it's non-traditional high school, and so I don't know, man. It's much different from when I first started. It's similar to when I first started. I first started at Lehman High School, and I had a lot of these kids who were taking the, I guess you could say, remedial math class. So a lot of them were troubled and stuff, and as a first year teacher, man, you don't know what the hell you're doing. And so get the kids that really need that extra help. It's just like setting somebody up to fail, man. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for working that first year at Lehman. And I wish I would have stuck it out, but it's one of those things. If I would have stuck it out, I would have probably never ended up Prairie Lee. So, and I would end up where I am now. So it's just one of those things like, dang, I regret it, but it had to happen. But I left after that. And my second year of teaching, and again, after my second year, I was ready to call it quits. I had interviewed for a couple jobs in that end of the year, and then I stopped looking. And I waited absolutely to the very end, and it was August. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do? I applied for freaking, ISS jobs, the basic like non-teacher jobs, but still working in schools.
Yeah.
Not get anything, man. I was like, why? Like, I'm a freaking certified teacher. I'm not qualified to be your ISS teacher. What is going on? So
Yeah.
that was really, disheartening. And I was
Self-doubt, I bet. I can't imagine actually.
yeah, man. I was just like, I mean, hell, like if they're in ISS and they're in trouble and shit, they don't know math, I can at least teach them. I'm a certified math. But it was just one of those things, man. But I mean, it all worked out because that's when I got hired to Prairie Leave, gave it another shot, and it really working with the kids at Prairie Leave really got me excited about teaching again for the first time in a long time. Not to say anything about those kids. Those kids at St. Marcus, I absolutely love them, and they're really good kids. And I wish I wouldn't have had to leave, but that's again just going back to the things that teachers have to deal with. But, as far as those, so like something that really is most being chosen for teacher appreciation while I was at San Marcos, I got chosen for baseball and softball, and in soccer. I had a soccer student as well. And she wasn't even actually my student. She was somebody I student taught when I was at San Marcos. So for her to come back and be like, "Hey, I want to choose you to be my teacher appreciation," like that meant a lot to me. And so while I'm going through this terrible time because of my administration, it was like at the same time such a wonderful thing because these students are bonding and establishing a rapport. They're loving on me and I'm loving on them. So it was just like a crazy, what the hell? Like one minute I'm like, oh, this is fun, this is cool, and then next minute somebody comes and ruins my day, and it's just like, I hate it. But I mean, it was good and bad.
Kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right, dude. It was just like, man, like, and that's the thing. Like, I ended up, taking all my days off that I could, but I didn't want to all the time because I was like, I want to be there for the kids and stuff. But I needed those mental health days because I couldn't be my best self for them, and so I had those days off because it was just,
it's really important, and that's good. I feel like that's good that you do that because like you need those mental days, and especially if you're getting like basically hell from like the higher ups, there's like that makes it so much even worse. So
right.
Like you deserve those mental breaks, man.
Yeah, I mean it's just, man, it was sad. It was a sad thing to see. I had so many people I was connected to in San Marcos, a lot of students who I student taught or just knew me from the community. I know their older sibling, whatever. My brother was in San Marcos at the time, Cisco, so I had a lot of kids that knew me, and it was just
your brother.
What's that?
Cisco's your brother?
Yeah, bro. Cisco.
No way. The one in baseball?
Yeah, Cisco Lopez.
No way. I never knew he was your brother.
Yeah.
He was in baseball my freshman year. And like he was like a stud to me.
yeah, he was a stud, man. He was good.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, man. So
I never even knew that.
Yeah, so I knew them. Like, I mean, I think that was the year. So he graduated like Prudy Calderon and those guys. So when they went to the playoffs, and I saw those on CFPO Rattlers, man. I saw them playing on like 6th grade and stuff like that. So it was cool to see. Anyways, so it was tough, man. I had a lot of connections there and a lot of teachers. A lot of those teachers that I was working with, either taught me or were still teaching there when I was there. And so many connections. It just sucked that it went down the drain because of one terrible person in administration or whatever. But I mean, so those are some of my most memorable and I guess sad but yet happy times. And I guess I don't know if it's funny. I think it's funny because I'm a Colt Keenan at Prairie Leave, man. And I don't think this is before your time, man.
Man, Colt is something else.
him and I love Caleb Dinsman. I know Dinsman. They just like it's Caleb. So, but those dudes crack me up, man. I love working with them. I can take one look at Caleb and he just do something and just make me laugh, man. Bless his heart, man. But I was teaching them. So I know this was when you were there because this is sophomore year when they were in geometry, and I'm teaching them sine, cosine, and tangent. And so the way we treat it is SOHCAHTOA. So those are that's the acronym. And so to remember it, it's Sokotoa,
Uh-huh.
kind of like an Indian, Native American, whatever the politically correct way to say it. But that's how I was taught it, so that's how I taught them. And
Yeah.
out loud, Colt Keenan in his country accent is like, Sokotoa, who's sucking toes up in here? What you teaching us? Something like that, man. It was just the funniest thing ever. And I'm like, no, I was like, I know what he say, suck a toe, boy. Like, what are you talking?
Where did you have you been practicing that impression? That was really good.
Dude, I used to mock him. Like, it was just his accent was so great, man. And just the way I don't know, I told somebody that story not so long ago either. But yeah, I don't know if I practiced it, but I used it enough times because that's and the way he would say brisket, man. Another but the second time that thing will forever be in my mind. One of my most memorable teaching moments. It was just so fun.
Yeah, that is funny. That is totally something Cole would say though. Like he would.
Yeah, man, it was, and it's funny because I'm pretty sure they all remember it. Like maybe even to this day, they probably don't know what to do with it. But like, yeah, I remember Sokotoa. Yeah, it's the little things like that, man. It just makes the day better. No matter what you're dealing with, you get these kids who do something silly, and they maybe not even intending to. Just but the way they interpret things, it's just funny, man. Kids are funny.
Yeah.
The way they interpret stuff or say stuff and react to stuff. It's priceless, man. So I get a bunch of good laughs up there. So
Yeah.
dealing with everything else makes it easier when I got some kids who can make me laugh and brighten my day, man.
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty cool. I remember this when you were telling the story. So we like you've known me, right, since I've been little, like.
I think I met you back when you were like in middle school, maybe.
Yeah, like so I knew that he knew of me because my mom would say he knows you, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but like I can hear your name, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but like my mom was like very determined that you knew me, so I was like, okay, well he knows me, well, and then I was like my first day of San Marcos, so I was originally in San Marcos like my all through elementary and junior high, and then I moved to Prairie Lee my 7th grade through 8th grade through like my freshman year, and then like my mid freshman year I moved to San Marcos, and in San Marcos like I wasn't familiar with the high school, so I didn't know where I was, and I asked you, and I didn't even know it was you that I met, and I was like, hey, can you help me find my class? And then I was like literally like 2 classes down. You were just like, it's just right there, and I was like, oh, okay. But you actually helped me find my class on my first day at the high school, and I didn't
really.
Yeah.
And you didn't know it was me.
No, I didn't know it was you.
It's funny, man. That's funny how it works.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back to that first day, man. I don't remember much from my first day. So if it happened, I'm not saying it didn't. I'm pretty sure it happened. It's just I remember at the end of that first day at St. Marcos, the freaking on our side, that wing that we were in, he broke, man, and it was just so hot that last period. I was like, afterwards, I'm like, man, it's too damn hot for this.
Yeah. It was always hot on that side.
Yeah, man. So we had the open windows, the sun right there beaming in, and AC.
We didn't even have windows in the classroom we're in.
Oh, okay. See, well, yeah, well, we're in the last hallway, so we had nothing but windows. And
yeah.
Anyways, but that's pretty cool. I didn't know. I guess I never made that connection.
I actually forgot about that until like right when you were saying in San Marcos, and I was like, it like kind of clicked, and I was like, oh no way.
Cool, man. That's what's up.
Yeah. So I know you probably get this question a lot, but I kind of want to hear your response on it. So a lot of people say like, how will school benefit us in real life, and how will math benefit us in real life? Which it does. I thought the same thing. I was like, this is not gonna help me, but you really do need math in like kind of everyday life. I don't know. You just like it comes in handy. Like if you wouldn't have the skill, you really wouldn't be able to do anything. But so what would you say? What would you say is like, how would you put it to them, like how it will be useful and like how they can benefit from it?
Okay. So first, I agree and I disagree to an extent. I agree to some extent about how it's not useful. But to go to your point about how it is useful, how it's beneficial. So the thing about math, and this is only because I studied so much of it. Like, I don't think people understand, like as a math teacher, like I had to go through like calculus A and like 1 and 2, whatever, like those are like the basic maths that a math person takes. We take all kinds of crap. Like we get to the point where we're proving, stuff like algebra, proving stuff like it's just crazy the amount of math we get. So
don't you? I've seen memes of like you have to like make a number out of like triangles and names and stuff. Is that true?
I don't know about that, man. I mean, in the history of math, we do study like how they used to use, and I hated that. That was one of the things I hated the most, the way they used to use hieroglyphics, and that was the way they counted and stuff. And they had a different base system. So we're in the base 10. Other people didn't use base 10. So it was like the way you count, 1 to 10, 11. Then you basically reset from, 11, 20,
Yeah.
And they didn't used to always do that. Some of them had different bases. So it was just so hard for me to grasp because I was so used to, our base 10 or whatever. But, I think that one of the proofs I remember is like we had to prove like 2 was an even number. You had to prove it. Like you can't, 2 is even because, whatever. We had to prove that 2 was a freaking even number, man. Like that was the very first thing we learned, I think, on the first day.
Wait, what? How do you even prove that?
I don't remember how to prove it's an even number. I'd have to study, man. And here's the sucks. I had kept all my notebooks, all my books, and they got ruined in the flood when the floods happened back in 2015, man. And all my crap was gone. I was so mad, like, because I was gonna keep that, in case I ever decided to go back to school or whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I can't show you how 2 is an even number, man. I don't have the notes anymore. Like I used to have them, but yeah, I really have to. I mean, I can learn it again. That's the thing. I've learned it before. It's well over 5 years ago that I learned it, but I can learn it again. It's just gonna take. Yeah, dude.
It'll probably be easier learning it.
I would hope so, but I mean, I had to learn crazy stuff like that, man, and I did stuff like that during summer classes. So it was like a whole 15-week class into 4 or 5. So it was just like a crazy bunch of crap. So my point is, attention to detail is something that math, attention to detail, even this crazy math that's difficult, whatever, because it could be as easy as you're solving an equation. You get to the last step, you get the wrong answer because you put a negative instead of a positive, because you divided by a negative instead of positive. Little things like that. So it's a little error like that. And when you start thinking about engineers and stuff like that, that can start costing people lives. So costing people's lives. So you can't make those kind of mistakes in math, right? So that little, the little spiel I can give you, that math teaches you attention to detail. That's the boring thing. People are like, whatever. And here's where I disagree, because, I think our school system now is leaning towards students who want to go to college. This kind of math is going to help you if you go to college.
Yeah.
In a way, like, I mean, it will help you learn and strengthen your brain for sure. But it's like, there's other ways to do it than just learning algebra 2 or geometry, whatever, even algebra 1. So I think the reason they give it to you is because they want to prepare you to go to college, or they want to prepare you to not like it so much that you don't go to, and you just go to work, or you just go to the military, or you go to college and then you work a 9 to 5 after that, because you're not going to get a very good. It just depends on what you study, but so I think in some ways, I do think the school system sets you up in a way that's not beneficial. But
I can for sure agree with that.
I think what it is it's what we make of it. What every situation, life is what we make of it. So if you go to school every day and you say this is useless to me, then you're going to find every freaking way to make it the least beneficial. Sure. But if you go in there with the mindset like I'm going to learn, then you're going to find those learning opportunities for you. Those things that, this seems like stupid, this seems dumb, I'm never going to use this, and you're going to find a way to strengthen your mind, right?
Yeah.
It means, hey, you decide like, hey, I can actually do this because I'm telling myself I can. Goes to self-fulfilling prophecy. So you tell yourself something long enough, you're going to believe it. You're going to do it. So if you do give yourself that benefit of the doubt, you have that mindset, then you're going to be able to learn that you can do all these sorts of things. Because I never in hell thought I could do calculus, different equations, stuff like that, proving 2 was an even number. And, it's just what you make of it. Because when I was doing those proofs, in upper level math, like I'm never going to teach this. Why do I need to know it? Yeah. And it's, I guess, more, again, to just make me a better math person so that I can teach it better. I don't know what it really did, but that's So that's why I'm like, yeah, you're kind of right. Like I do think some of it's non-beneficial, but if you can make the most of it, that's what I tell my kids. You got to come in, you got to make the most of it because you got to be here anyways. You have to pay your dues.
Yeah.
So make the best of it. Make it a learning experience. Make it something beneficial, something that can strengthen you. But yeah, I do think there's a lot of things that could be changed about it that can make it more beneficial. Because I think right now it's setting people up to fail, setting people up to work 9 to 5, go into the military or go to college and then get a job. And it's just there's no in between really, and there's no, especially for those learners who are going to be math. And I think the argument is, well, as a teenager, how do you know what you want to do with your life, right? And that's a fair point. And that was another argument I would sometimes use. But it's like, I just told you, right? I don't remember how to prove 2 is an even number. So if I go back to math to get my master's or whatever, I had to go back and reteach myself that 2 is an even number, right? Or how to prove it.
Yeah.
So no matter what, I'm gonna have to learn at the end of the day, right? So like if you decide later on in life that you want to go to college after you're like, nah, I don't want to do algebra 2, I don't want to do that because I'm not going to go to college, and you decide later, well, you're gonna have to relearn it anyways, even if you went through it before. So it's like, I get it. It might not be as hard the second time, but it's just one of those things, If at that point when you're older and you want to go to college, now you have a reason to learn it, so that might motivate you more.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm just trying to get you to pass the STAR test. It's not much motivation. It doesn't motivate you at all. Me as a teacher is like, well, I got people grilling me because they want my scores up, and we need test scores to be out of the world or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of like one of those things, man. It's just like it puts a lot of stress on teachers to get y'all to learn something y'all don't want to learn. How am I going to make that engaging to you if it's nothing that's going to be benefiting you later on in life? I can tell you right now, you probably never had to solve an equation since you graduated high school.
Yeah.
All right.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's just one of the things, man. I agree with it and I disagree with it. But again, it goes back to what you make of it. But I definitely understand.
I think I could for sure agree with you. Like 100%. Like life is what you make of it. Like you can either look at life as half empty or half full. That's like a whole other conversation right there. Half empty or half full. That the whole perception of that. But going back to like what you were saying, how of the teaching, like how it's like just like set up to like a 9 to 5, like it's very structural. And I actually saw this thing of like how it was like the classroom in 1994. It was just like, I don't know if you've seen this picture. It's like the classroom in 1994. It's like all the like kids are like lined up, and it's like just perfectly, just like normal classroom how you would see today. And then like underneath, it was like the car. It was like the car 19 whatever year.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
all
about.
the same year, 1912. I think it was 1912. And it was like the car was like like it was very barely started. And it was like
almost like the Model T looking car.
Yeah. And then it was like, I think it was like something that the Tesla guy had made. I don't know. I don't know his name. Something like he had. It was a telephone, I think. I don't think he made that. Whoever made the telephone, it was someone with the telephone. And it was like 1912, and then like it was like a 2020, like a car, and it was like a really nice car. Then like the phone, like how advanced the phones are, and then it was like the teaching room, and it was like the exact same, just with color. And I was like, that is very true. Like that, there has to be like some type of change. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if everything else is changing, why hasn't that changed?
Right. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw that actually not too long ago for the second time. And it kind of goes, I mean, I've heard this before, and I haven't done any research on it, so I don't know how true it is, but it sounds very, very much true. It's like, the whole reason school started was when child labor laws came into effect. And so you can no longer work a child, multiple hours a day or whatever. So instead, let's put them in school for 8 hours a day and teach them stuff they don't need to learn, or some of it they need to learn. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so no, it's crazy. It's crazy how, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I think I also feel like it's kind of like in a way like they do want us to improve, but it's like ways to improve that'll benefit them, not so much benefit us to make like our genuine life happy. Like it'll be more fit to make their happy and like make the make the economy run how they want it to run.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and this is something I do. This is something that does make me sometimes question whether I want to keep teaching. Not that it's nothing to do with my students or anything, but I wish we were. I wish it was a. So we have standards, state standards that they have to learn this, this objective, whatever, and it's all more towards the abstract math. Like, why don't we have it where we teach them how to, do your own taxes, how to loans, how to work on your credit, how to build it, how to invest, because I mean, hey, I'm 28 years old, man, went through college and everything. I don't know anything about investing, and I'm starting to learn now. I'm going to try to learn now because it
Yeah.
seems you need to be able to invest to make money in this world. And so, I
What are you
mean,
investing in? What are you investing in?
I don't know. I haven't even. I'm saying I got to start looking into it more.
Oh, okay, for sure. You need to jump on it, man. I don't know a lot, but I'm willing to teach you everything I know whenever you want. I can tell you what my portfolio is. I could tell you right now, but you might be a little stressed out, like hearing that, like not knowing.
No, yeah, I got you
But I can for sure tell you whenever, man. Just
for sure.
it,
And
it,
so
it can be very stressful, like going into it, but it's not a lot. It's just like big information coming at you that you're not used to seeing. But once it gets broken down, it's really easy and simple to understand.
that sounds like a good teacher. I mean, no, I mean, and that's the cool thing, man. It's like a lot of stuff I didn't learn in school or at home or whatever. Like you can open an app now and you can learn how to do that stuff, man. It's so crazy how people
There's even apps that pay you to learn about like how to invest.
really.
Yeah, it's called coin. And their investing is in the cryptocurrency. Do you know about
Okay.
cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's their cryptocurrency, so it's the difference between stocks and crypto. And if you buy, I don't know if it's a separate app or if it's ran through Coinbase, but I think I know for a fact because I always get ads that if I go learn, like they'll pay me like 15 cents for like each lesson. And I don't know exactly the number, but I know it pays you like cents, but like that adds up most definitely, especially like when you're first learning, or you shouldn't even stop learning, honestly. I should probably take it. I should probably look into that actually.
No, for sure, man. So, and I mean, yeah, that kind of goes back to what you're saying about the relevance of what we have to learn in school and teach in school, and yeah, it's just some of it should change, and not necessarily just the math part, but
Yeah.
everything.
Overall, I feel like there is some change that's happening, but it's not really anything really drastic, like or anything super fast. I feel like it's more kind of slowly getting there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like in education that the change is like going from an overhead projector to
Yeah,
that's like the big, oh, we're incorporating technology, we're playing Kahoot or whatever. Kids are on, bro, you're still solving equations. You're still, doing it. And granted, it is a little bit more engaging, I guess, for the kids, but it's like, I don't know, actually applying it, it's the same kind of, we're going to run into the same issues. The reason our scores aren't getting terribly, or aren't doing so much better than they were before. And especially now with, the whole COVID thing when people were, at home for a long time, and
yeah,
it's a mess, man. It's education's a real, it's a real mess right now. And
yeah,
but it's I mean, and the thing is, it's a beauty in it, though, right? It's a struggle right now
sure.
because maybe we can learn how can we teach better, how can we run schools better, because
Yeah, how can you adapt?
right, the perfect time for change is when things are going bad. So, but I don't know if we're actually going to have people in those positions and be like, yo, you know what? Let's analyze this and let's get better. I don't know if we're going to have those people up there. So
Yeah, I feel like there's those people, but they're not up there like to make those decisions.
right, no, definitely not. The people that they got up there, people who never sat in a classroom as a teacher. Or
Yeah, I feel like that should be a requirement, and
I agree.
I feel like it should be a requirement. You had actually mentioned this to me on a project I was working on, like how, like the higher ups of like the administration of the higher ups of like TEA, whatever you want to. I feel like all higher ups, if you are like leading or you are instructive or you are like higher up of a teacher or like anyone in general, you need to be in their position. I feel like at least one time a month.
Right, yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree. I mean, I mean, you're making the decisions about these teachers and about these students, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you have the best interest if you don't know what the best interest is? Because you're not in the trenches, and so and a lot of times the administrations who do have some influence on the decisions, some of them lost touch with reality, man. Some of them haven't been in the classroom that long, so long that they forgot what it's like, or maybe they just came up in a school where they had really, I don't know, like it just sometimes, some of the administration I've worked for has really made me question, like, have you really ever been in a classroom? Have you really the way you're evaluating me right now and my peers, have you ever been evaluated the way you evaluate? Because from the look of it, I'd say you wouldn't know what the hell you're doing. You go to my class and here you come take over from one class and show me what you can do and show me how it's better than what I'm doing. So and it's another thing when you got people, and I get it because schools, you don't have as many administrators as you need. But like if you got somebody who taught band as their thing, and they're over here evaluating math and English and science, this is like, I mean, it's probably a little bit easier to get the kids engaged in some band. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
And most likely, if you're in band in high school, it's because you're interested in that. So you're probably gonna be engaged.
No kidding, man. So it's not like a whole bunch of stuff you got to do. It's like, man, I'm over here trying to teach them how to solve equations, man. Like, don't give a damn. Like they're taking this by they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
People by choice, man. Like so. I mean, even just other, subjects. If I wouldn't feel comfortable if I was the administrator. Like, if I'm evaluating a science teacher, like I don't know jack crap about science, man. I couldn't tell you. So, I could tell them that they're doing good with their, teaching strategies, but that's about it. Like, if they're actually teaching the concept well, like, yeah, if I learn, I guess you are, man, because I wouldn't be able to tell. It's just one of the
science is another subject that's real iffy. Now that I'm older, like it's fun to learn about science, but science in school, that was horrible. Those are my two subjects that I was like, I would dread going to class.
Well, people always question because usually science and math are, go together, and history and English go more together, whatever.
Yeah, those are my things right there.
Right. And so people always wonder, like, how the hell was I loving math or good at math? And I hated science. I couldn't even, and physics has so much math in it. I couldn't for life. I don't know why. It just wasn't my thing.
Physics is the one with like all the decimals and fractions, right?
It's like where you're doing, it apparently has a lot to do with calculus. It's like force and motion, and you're using equations. And
yeah,
man, I'm not even gonna stand here and act like I know what I'm talking. I just remember initial velocity, average velocity, and force, and all that crap. Man,
I don't remember anything, to be honest.
I mean, I remember plugging stuff in, and it was like everything I was told to plug in, and the numbers never came out right. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So.
I don't know. I remember never turning anything in my physics class. I would never turn anything in because I wouldn't know what I was doing. So I would just never turn anything in. And then like when the due date would come, to be honest, I don't know what I did, but I was passing somehow.
It works. You made it.
So if there was one thing, we've kind of already like touched on it, but if there was one thing that was in your hands and you could like make a change instantly in the school system, what would it be? Like spot on, like if you had an option?
So despite, I already said about the math part, I definitely think that would be a thing, and it's going to be hard to do it, but I think that would be the most beneficial from a academic or, actually life.
I feel like people would also be more engaged about learning about
something. No kidding.
They would see value in that. Like they would see how that would with them.
Like how is this going to benefit you, man? Because I mean, most of y'all, a lot of people like at 15, 16, they're already working jobs, so they kind of know that, they're getting taxed. Their money's getting taxed. How does it work, man? So definitely, I think that would be. But again, that would be a lot to implement. It'd take a long time. I don't know if that ever happened. Because I do know that some schools offer literacy courses, but they're more of an elective. They're not a requirement. So that's kind of sad. But I think, and something the pandemic kind of taught us is mental health, man. Mental health is a serious thing for everybody, not just teachers as well. And I feel, man, and this is something I try to do as a math teacher. It was much harder for me to do when I was teaching, 7 different subjects and all these different kids. But like something I can do a little bit more now in a non-traditional school when I don't have as many students. I find out a student who's, I have a student right now who she's very artistic. And so I find a lot of ways to, I still got to teach her the math, but a lot of ways. So instead of doing a little quiz or a test that she has to do on the work she's doing, it's more of a project and it has some art incorporated. So like, and I did this over there. I did that like an Angry Bird thing. I don't think I don't know. You weren't there yet for that, but
I wasn't there, but that was very famous amongst.
Right, you saw I had the posters and all that, man. So I had to do that recently, actually, because she was having to do quadratic functions, and And so just something like that where I can give them that little, something that's relevance. It's you know their strength, something that plays to their strength. And so it's just seeing what she's good at, her art or whatever. And I haven't had a successful one to do this, but I've offered it to multiple students because just about every high school student thinks they're the next big rapper or whatever. They all got
Yeah.
and I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. I'm like, hey, if you make it, shout me out, man. Not a diss, shout me out. You know what I'm saying? Supporting you right now. But it's like,
Yeah.
I've given the option before, like if you're in an algebra class, whatever, like if you can make a successful rap song that uses this vocabulary and it makes sense, then yeah, man, I'll count it as your final. I'll count it as a project. Something that I haven't anybody take up the challenge and be really successful with it. So I mean, and if somebody can do that, man, I'm gonna go follow. I don't even have SoundCloud. I'm gonna go follow or whatever. I'll share your SoundCloud, whatever you want me to do, man, because somebody can do that. If somebody can drop bars to an algebra song or geometry song, like then I know you good with it. You smooth with it, man. If you can turn that into some bars, I'll give you that, man. So just creative outlooks. I mean, think back when you're in elementary school, the favorite part of the day, recess, right? And then in high school and junior high, it turns into PE or athletics. And so it's like, but not everybody has that. Not everybody wants to compete competitively for a sport. They want to play sports, but not, and so the PE is for that. But you don't really get your own choices in PE. They have you do your own thing. But if you can have like, man, when I was in middle school, we had what's called Champs Day. And it was like once a month. And I pitched this idea to somebody at Prairie League because I think it would help, boost the morale. But like once a month or whatever, as long as you had all your grades good, you had no disciplinary issues, the end of the month or whatever, you get this one day where the second half of the day is basically field day, man. You got open field, you got open court, you got art rooms, you got entertainment rooms, you can play video games, you can watch movies, everything. But so everybody's interest is peaked, like, hey, I'm gonna go ball up all day, or I'm gonna go throw the football outside, or I'm gonna go watch a movie with my friends. I'm gonna go. It's free to have rooms for Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, man. Like I'm gonna go play some Pokemon. Whatever, man. It's like, and it's all good, man. Nobody, you're with your own little clique or whatever. You ain't gonna be talking down to nobody because you can be out there playing, ball or whatever, and the other dudes doing their thing. Let them do their thing, man. Let them play their Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever. But like, man, like it was just, it was cool. Like everybody got to be themselves. They got to go do their own thing, enjoy it. And the teachers, they're just all they have to do is supervise, man. They're just out there chilling, whatever. Get to talk to other teachers. This is a mental break, man. It's just have some fun. It gives them something to work towards because even if they're not engaged, wanting to learn this material, they at least got to do a good enough job to make it to that Champs Day. So like that, man. Just and it sounds childish, but a lot of times, high school. And that's the thing. A lot of teachers, from what I've experienced, they forget that even though they're high schoolers and they're talking like adults and they're ready to fight you or whatever, man, like they're still kids, man. So treat them like that, they still like the, hey, good job, the attaboys, the pat on the backs. They still like that stuff and the rewards, the praise, man. Who doesn't like praise? Like you give somebody a compliment, it makes them smile, it makes their day. So even as kids who are thugs or whatever, thugs, or they're hard, man, they want to punch you in the face. And I had those kids, but it's like, I know if I offer them, hey, let's, if you do really well this week, let's go play some ball in the gym, whatever. I'm pretty sure that would be motivator for them. It'll make them feel good. Like, hey, I earned this.
Yeah.
Little things like that, man, where you just give them a chance to earn that mental break, the creative spark or whatever. Like I said, if they want to go, play games or whatever, or just even draw, go to a room and draw. Just a place where they can just be at peace with themselves, do their own thing.
Yeah.
And it's hard to manage, but again, that also gives the teachers a break because they got to supervise or whatever, but you can have the people who like to be watching movies in the movie room. You can have teachers who like to play basketball in the basket. You know what I mean? So you just really build that community and that connection with students and teachers. So I think just having that, like, especially, I mean, if anything, COVID taught us, like, man, we can miss a crap ton of time and we can still make it, man. We still have graduations. We still have students being successful. So why not be able to take some of that academic time and turn it into time that it's a mental break? It's, allows them to be creative. It allows them to just enjoy what they want to do, man. So something I would really like to implement at every school if I could.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that would for sure benefit a lot, actually, because I remember we had Champs Day as well in San Marcos, and I feel like that was definitely something to look forward to. So I would say that is definitely, I could feel that on most definitely. The so how do you feel about the Cowboys? This is totally off topic, but how do you feel about the Cowboys and their
Oh
past,
man,
past play?
man, when I did this podcast, I was like, I know Caleb, and it's funny because I thought about it too. I was like, he's not gonna bring it up, man. And it's funny because I had posted on Facebook a few weeks ago when they beat I forgot who they played, but they barely beat it. It was Washington football team. Almost came back on them at the end because they were just playing sloppy penalties, whatever, starting a fight at the end of the like you're up big and you're starting fights. And I posted, I said, Cowboys aren't going far. They keep playing like this. Like
Yeah.
And sure enough, they didn't, man. So, it's not surprising. And honestly, I talked to everybody I was talking to, and everybody's all hype and everybody's all going to Super Bowl. I love fans, but I hate the Cowboys fans. I hate them. I'm one myself, but I feel like I'm a little more logical, man. So
Yeah.
every year is our year, right? But it's like, dude, we know.
It was kind of looking like it this year. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of.
Well, see, that's
I'm not gonna lie. I was about to put some money on the game, and I wasn't watching it, and I didn't really do any research. So I was like, I'm not gonna risk it, and I'm not gonna be watching it. Like I was gonna be busy in the time frame. So I was like, I'm not willing to do that, and I'm so glad I did. And I would have been very upset.
No, man. I mean, and that's the thing. Like anybody who, and I like to think myself as somebody who, and when I watched the game, like I watched every Cowboy game this year, for the most part. So, like I knew what to expect, and I think when you get the analysts and people were mad that they're picking San Fran. I'm like, no, man, they're picking them for a reason. There's a reason they're picking them, but the Cowboys really did for a while there look really good when before Dak got hurt. Dak was playing incredible the first few games of the season. I was impressed, and I'm a big Dak critic. I love him as a person. I love what he stands for. But his on ball play, man, it's not worth the contract he got.
Yeah.
How to look off receivers. He gets pressured real easy. He gets scared, and I think after he got injured, that really messed with his flow, man. And so they didn't look good since he came back from injury.
Yeah.
The defense was incredible. It was cool to see them. It was exciting to see them, and I was excited. But when I saw we got 49ers, man, I was like, that's gonna be one they're gonna want to kick our ass. And if we mistakes we make, we're gonna shoot ourselves in the foot. And that's what happened. It was just too many mistakes, undisciplined ball. I think Jerry Jones really needs to step off. Like, just let the coach be the coach, man. Let him run it, because you haven't won since the coach did that, which was, well, I guess he won after Jimmy Johnson that one year, but I think it was Barry Switzer who coached, who was kind of like a puppet still. So, but ever since then, man, it's like you haven't had, a coach be able to come in here and coach. And
Yeah.
no coach who wants to be that kind of coach wants to come work for Jerry, because they know how he is. So Mike McCarthy, as much as people were excited, I wasn't excited for him. I thought he's looking like another puppet. He doesn't get mad. Like when a player gets, and you know how I was on the field when somebody made a mistake, I was freaking livid. I was like,
Yeah.
be better. And it's like, man, so I was mad. I don't care who you are, if you just start player or not. When somebody makes a mistake, take their butt out of the game, give them something, chew them out a little bit. And he was just taking his head. It's like, better than Jason Garrett when he was climbing the sideline, man. So I don't know, man. It wasn't too far-fetched for me. I'm not disappointed. Like I kind of expected it low key, and when people were asking me about it, I'm like, yeah, like if the Cowboys win, oh yeah, we're gonna win. Like if the I kept saying if, like I don't know if we're gonna win.
Yeah.
Too much surprise. I'm not too disappointed. I mean, it sucks, dude. Like they had such a good season, but I knew they weren't there. The way they've been playing, the way they're coaching, it looked much better. Dan Quinn did a really good job with that defense, but the culture really needs to change there. And I just think under Jerry as a GM, he doesn't give the coach enough.
Yeah.
Leverage to kind of just do his thing.
Yeah. Like they kind of just they're micromanaged.
Right, exactly. And that sucks, man. You don't like to be micromanaged, and somebody can't really be themselves. So, and I don't think McCarthy was the guy, anyways. Even if he wasn't micromanaged, I don't think he was the guy. I think when he won that Super Bowl, it was Rodgers, man. Rodgers is doing the thing. So yeah. So I don't know why you brought that up. You can take that out. You can take that clip out, though. Nah.
Yeah, I got you.
No, I'm just playing, man. But I seriously, I was at one point earlier today. I was just thinking to myself, I was like, nah, he ain't gonna mention it. He ain't gonna mention it.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, do I want to ask him? But then you had said something about, I think you had said something about sports, or you said something about us like that mention that gleaned me with football, and I was like, I'm gonna ask him. And you're wearing, are you wearing blue? It looks like you're wearing like a navy blue. No, is it
I
black?
don't know. I had my Cowboy shirt and I held I wear that.
I
You know, it's
definitely, I
gonna
would have
give you a
asked you
reason.
at the beginning if you were wearing a Cowboys shirt.
Nah, I was like, I wasn't gonna give you a reason. Heck no. I was gonna wear my cowboy hat too because my hair or whatever. And I was like, nah, I can't do it. Can't do it. So
Are you going for anyone after, like now that they're out, or are you just kind of just like,
I probably won't watch another game to the Super Bowl to be honest. But I don't really care. I really don't care. Part of me, I don't know, man. Like Aaron Rodgers had a really good season. It'd be cool to see him win, but I don't know. It just seems like he's kind of checked out. Like he's there, but he's not there, and he's just kind of I don't know. So it'd be weird to see him win. I don't want to see. I'll tell you this. I don't care who wins. I do not want Tom Brady to win another.
you don't want? I was just about to ask you about that.
I'm not a hater, man. I was really happy he won last year because after all that crap and splitting up and everybody was giving him crap and when he went to Tampa Bay, I was like, what? Why? But this year I feel like it a lot more, and I'm not. He was kind of like the coach. They like Bruce Arians wasn't running the show, man. It was Tom Brady's show, and he was kind of just doing whatever he wanted. I don't like that, man. I don't like that any player can have that much control on the team. Like I don't think same thing with LeBron. It bothers me. LeBron James has been that way, and LeBron's a incredible player, and I guess he's earned the right or whatever. But it's like you're a player. You're not a coach, man. You're not a GM. So
Yeah.
I feel like you need to be coachable. And Tom Brady's 40-something years old, and so I get it. He's earned his stripes or whatever. But I don't know. I just feel like this is still disrespectful. Like telling your coach, no, you're not taking me out. It's just those little things that kind of bug me. Like I'm saying,
Yeah.
But so I mean, I wouldn't. But no, I really don't care who wins. Just as long as this game's a good one. Last year's game was terrible. Houston's got their butts rocked.
Yeah, I actually watched it, and then at the end, I was like, "Why did I watch all this?" I couldn't.
Yeah, man, it was a crappy
I would have been
game,
checking
man.
like updates if I wasn't watching it. And I was like, if it would have looked like something was happening, I could have just like got back on.
Yeah, nah, it was just that was a terrible Super Bowl last year. So hopefully there's at least a good one, I guess.
I've been saying, so I like the Raiders. I've been saying since 2018 that 2023 is going to be our year. I've been saying it. I have been manifesting it. Anytime we talk about the Raiders gets mentioned up, I'll just take it because we kind of trash. We just do good at the first couple games, and then like we start going downhill. We start having crazy things happen. And but 2023 is our year. That's gonna be our year. I'm calling it right here. And then 2023, we're gonna win.
You got it on record. You got proof.
Got it on record.
I mean, man, I mean that's bold. I mean, when they got John Gruden, when they brought him back in, I was really excited. I was like, man, I like John Gruden as coach. I wish the Cowboys would have hired him. He would have never gone to the Cowboys because of what I mentioned, but
yeah.
The whole thing that happened there, but this new coach, what I hear about him, the interim coach, whatever, the guy that's filling in for him, like he seems really cool. He seems to really get the respect of the players. I don't know if you heard, like after the Super Bowl or the playoff loss, he was in the hotel room. He wrote like all his players thank you letters, I guess, for just the way they opened up to him and allowed him to coach or whatever. So I thought, man, that's cool, man. He's humble, he's thankful, he's grateful. So I really hope he gets that job. But I like the Raiders, man. They can be exciting, and I mean they had some tough hits this year, not just guys, but the whole thing with Henry Ruggs, and they had another guy, I think, like a DUI not too long after or whatever. But so sad to see that kind of stuff happen, man. Young athletes, But hopefully, I mean, you never know. I mean, anything's possible, man. I mean,
anything's possible.
And next year, but, you never know, man. It was just cool. I just like seeing, good teams play and just,
like whenever they got Marshawn Lynch, I was like, they're coming back. This is it. But like, I didn't say anything because I was like, nah, I don't know. I didn't want to like say anything, and I'm really glad I didn't because I would have hyped it up. And then I would have gotten a lot of shit whenever it was like horrible.
I don't know, man. They can be exciting. A lot of people don't think Derek Carr is the guy, man, but I mean, he has enough good moments. But it's just,
I think he just needs to be more smart.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just in the NFL, anything goes, man. You never know. You never know what's gonna happen. A lot of people think the Raiders should still be playing right now. So I mean, a lot of things come into effect. So. I mean, things happen, man. Things go wrong. People run a QB draw with 13 seconds on the clock and don't have a timeout. So, questionable coaching call there. But, let's see. Anyways, yeah. So if they do happen, I guess I'll come back and I'll give you credit.
Yeah.
2023.
We'll see. What?
2 years from now, not next year. You're talking about, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because this Super Bowl is technically in 2022.
2022. Yeah. So it'll be, I guess, 2024.
So 23, 20. Okay. So you're talking
Yeah.
two. Okay. All right. Just to clarify.
Yeah. It's gonna happen. I don't know. I don't know how, but it's gonna happen. I just
All right.
feel
Let's
it.
see.
I feel like they're gonna come together. They were looking pretty good this year, but then they started messing up. They're really good. They're really good at coming back, though. I will say that they're good at coming back. Like I don't know why they do that. Like they just like it's like they don't play, and then they're like, all right, let's play now.
All right. Let's turn the switch on. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just cool. I like to. It's good to see teams who play well as a team. Yeah. I'll take it at basketball. I don't know if you watch basketball, but like I had a kid who was talking about like LeBron and the Lakers are, because they got all these great players or whatever. They're all of them are old, man. It's not about how many name guys you have. The Bucks won last year with one name guy. So it's like I like it when these teams are just so good of a team. Like you can't just pin it down to one or two players. And football's a lot more like that because you got so many different aspects of the game that make it different. So it's just cool to see good teams play together and win as a team, good coaching.
How much chemistry can make
Right.
so much farther on like just chemistry, like whenever
Right.
you translate it onto the court of the field, it's like that connection, almost like an instinct.
Yeah.
Playing with Damien, like Damien Chapo, like whenever we played football together, it was like, and like I wasn't like even with basketball, but like I'm not on his level with basketball, so like I can't really like keep up with him. But like there's still that connection that like I just know. Like I think there was a time where he threw it and I wasn't even looking. Like I just like literally turned around and I knew it was gonna be there. Like it's just like that connection. It's almost like an instinct.
Yeah, man. No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see that. And that goes back to my reason the Cowboys weren't going to win, man. They didn't have that. They didn't have that connection. They weren't, on the same page. A lot of times Dak was throwing the ball one way and the CD's going the other way or Mari's the other way. So we have all the talent in the world, man. The Cowboys roster, you look at the Cowboys roster, you put it in a different team, a different manager, different head coach. That's a Super Bowl team, man. Like they've had numerous years like that. So
yeah.
And they can't put it together, man. You got to, they have the talent. So Jerry got to start pointing the finger back at himself, man. But I mean, it's like, I don't know what it is, man. It just something has to change. But I do know what you're talking about. I do like that, that connection, man. It's second nature. It's just, where you're going to be on the field or on the court or whatever, what to expect from the other player. And it's a beautiful thing to see. So
yeah,
we'll see. If they just play like that in 23, they'll have my support.
Yeah, sure. Most definitely. We'll see what happens. I think they can make it.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I do have like one final question. It's kind of a bit lengthy, but it's not that complex. If you were on an island and you were stranded on this deserted island, what would you choose to have? A map, a book called 101 Things to Do on a Deserted Island, so I'd never get bored, a camera to take selfies, a companionship or a buddy, an iPod full of your favorite music, podcasts, etc., a tools to build a solar water still so you'd have enough water to drink and never run out.
Cool. So I'm the kind of person who, and I'm not going to do this to you because I don't want to make this more complex, but I'm the kind of person when you give me a question like this, I'm gonna start asking like, what resources do I have? What is there drinkable water? Water is it salt? You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna ask you now, but we're gonna keep it simple because I'm gonna keep it simple. So I would definitely go with a buddy or companion. Like two minds are better than one, and
most definitely.
As much as a water still would be, the tools for it, you technically don't say I don't have the tools for it. So we might be able to build it out of trees or something. I don't know, man. So, but just having a companion for anything, just if you're out in a desert island and you see nobody else there, like, you're probably gonna go crazy, and your mentality is just ready to give up, whatever. And so, I think that having somebody there to kind of help you out, question what you're doing or support what you're doing. Like, hey, what can we do? Like, we're in this together. So it's this kind of going back to that chemistry, that team bonding, that, just having somebody else there with you would definitely help kind of calm your nerves, kind of be like, hey, like, let's build off each other. Let's help each other out. Let's cool. It's, maybe my strengths are your weaknesses and your strengths are my weaknesses, and we can find a way to make it out. And I feel like that's the best way because even if I had everything to drink water to live on the island, like who the hell wants to live by themselves, man? Like, come on, man. Somebody there with me. Like, I might need some alone time, but it's like, nah, I want somebody to share, some stories with or some time with. Kill the time, man. Because I mean, a book, like, even if it tells me what I'm like, like I need something there, man. So
yeah,
that's what I would choose.
would you say that like connection, like having a connection with people is a core essential for your life?
Definitely so, and I think what the pandemic has shown us was that's definitely a true thing, and even with your introverts, man, because what people don't understand, people think introverts are people who are just don't want any kind of social anything, but and me and I feel like I'm somewhat of an introvert. At least I used to be a lot more. I guess I am. So more of it's more just because when I'm comfortable with somebody, you're like, dude, this dude's not an introvert. Like he just talks all the time. Like, shut the hell up, whatever this and that. But that's what an introvert does, man. It's not that they don't like to talk or be social. It's just they need to have a connection with you. They need to feel comfortable with you and stuff like that. So I definitely think so. So even for people who say they're not social or they're not a people person, that's crap, man. But everybody has some social aspect to them, in my opinion, and it has to be the right person or the right people. So no, I definitely think it just you build off people's energy, you build off because like you could be in such a depressed mood, man. And just seeing somebody can just make all the difference. Just like instill something in you, just make you happier. So
Yeah, for sure. I also feel like in life we just need a companion. Like just like you said, like if you're down, like they're there for you. Or like when you have good news, like you could just go and share that news.
yeah, sure, man, no, for sure. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So where not where. So are there any questions that you have to ask me? Any just random questions or questions
Yeah,
already thought of?
yes, I do. The first one I wanted to ask you was what does chin wag mean?
Chinwag. It means to chat or to conversate. It's
Okay.
all it
See,
means.
I had no idea that meant that.
Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of why I picked that because it's like I looked up, this is what I looked up. I got on Safari and I was like, other words for talk. And then I was like looking for a while and nothing really caught my attention. I was like scrolling and then I looked something else up and then I went under podcast. I just put other words for podcast and like still nothing came up and I was like, dang. So then I was like stumped and I was like, I don't know. I'll just give up. And then later on, I went back on and I was like, maybe I'm just gonna look again. And I like went up for other words for talk. And then I like clicked it and then I saw chin wag and I was like, what does that even mean? And I was like, that sounds weird. So I clicked on it and then it was like chat or conversate. And I was like, that's perfect. That's the environment I want to create. It's just like a chat conversating. And then Midway Vibe just I feel like I just like that name for one. And I feel like in a way it does represent my personality just midway. And then like you just always want to have good vibes.
I was gonna have a follow-up question, which you kind of hit already. I was gonna ask you, so now that I know what chin wag means, so I was gonna ask you what does the whole thing mean, or what do you want it to mean? What do you want it to represent? Like what is the deeper meaning of these chin wags or these whatever midway vibes? So like, what do you want it to represent?
I want it to be just two people sharing their insight, connecting because one for me, connecting is I feel like it's essential for me just because like I like having connections. Because in the long run, we don't know what life is gonna bring, and you could bring something that I really need at the time. And also for right now, the now opportunity is I'm growing from you, you're growing from me. We're both learning from each other. In this situation, there's an option for other people to learn. So it's just that rapport, that connection that is really important to me. And also just like sharing the insight and in some ways I do want to have it more like on like a deeper side, like how I guess life aspects, like not just like random things, like life aspects. For sure, just like whatever, but more focused in on life aspects. So like other people can learn from other people's struggles and just knowing that they're not alone through whatever they're going through, that someone has gone through something similar or is going through it at the moment, or just sharing, just two people connecting and sharing their insights.
No, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
People need that, man. I'll tell you a story, man. This is something I was thinking about, making what we talked about or kind of being whatever. I thought it was going to be a little too, not dark, but just deep. And I don't know if I'm ready to have that whole conversation yet, but it's just something that hits me every day. So, you
Yeah.
know, the year before you came back to Pearly, my brother passed away, and he was
Yeah.
like one of my best friends, man, and somebody I would hang out with every weekend. And I told my family this because the very next day, man, it happened on a Sunday, so the very next day was a Monday. And like, I was like, I need to go to work. And my family is looking at me like, you're stupid. You're not going to work. And I was like, well, no, I don't have any sub plans. Like, I need to get something ready. And
Yeah.
also, I was worried because I didn't have enough sick days and I needed to have days off or whatever. And so my dumb self was up at the school that morning and making copies and trying to get everything together. It was funny because I was driving up there and for some reason my car window wouldn't go down.
The
You know,
what?
my car window, it wouldn't go down.
Yeah.
Anytime I had any kind of issues with my car or whatever, my brother, he was a car guy. He liked hooking up systems in his car when he was, a teenager and all that. And even when he got older, he liked putting systems in, and that was always a big thing for him. And so like anytime I had any kind of like mechanical or issue, like more than likely I'm gonna call up my brother and like, hey, like what do you think this would be, whatever. And I was driving up to the school, man. And here's the thing: I had my windows down because it was kind of a cooler morning, and I had the AC on. And then it started to rain.
Yeah.
Dude, like I need to roll those windows, whatever. Yeah, it was just a basic thing. My windows weren't rolling up, man. I'm on Highway 80, like about 10 minutes away from the school, and I'm like, son of a bitch, like what is going on?
Yeah.
And I was ready, and I was gonna pick up my phone, and I couldn't call him, man. I was just like,
Yeah.
I was gonna be the guy I called, like Joseph, what's going on with my car, man? The windows aren't rolling up, and it's raining or whatever. And so it was just like, man, it was just such a deeper connection. I guess it was in a way I kind of felt him.
Yeah.
And I went inside, did all my things, whatever, and my principal was like, "Get the hell out of here, go home, be with your family." And I was like, "All right," I left. And I get back to the car, and my car's windows have been down this whole time. So it didn't rain too bad, but got a
Yeah.
little wet. I get inside, man. That's the stupidest thing. I had the window lock on, so all I had to do was press the button, lock off.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got to the car and did that, man, it was just like I could like hear him laughing. Like I know he was just laughing at me for that.
Yeah.
Really, dude? Like he would have. And here's what I told my family. I was like, he wouldn't have just came and told me, "Oh yeah, you just gotta hit the switch." Nah, he would have played it, man. He would have. Oh, dude, like I don't know what's going on, man. Maybe we got to take this. It's gonna be really expensive to get this part. Blah blah blah. I'm just kidding. You just gotta put the switch on or whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, really, dude? Like I'm all freaking out and stuff. But that's how he did it for sure. I think in that moment. And so that just the very next day after that, I was just like, that was the experience I had. And I was just like, man, like I know that's how in my mind he would have played it, man. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things, man. It's just so deeper connections and talking to people, who've gone through stuff and
Yeah.
no, it's definitely, because I mean, that affects me to this day. I don't know if it'll ever not
It's hard.
affect.
Death is like I would say death is one of the hardest things that you could ever deal with because like yeah, you can have breakups that like bring a grown man to his knees, but you can go in a way you're gonna have another relationship. It might not be that relationship, but you can even work that relationship out. Whatever happens, you will move forward. And like with death, you can move forward, but it's a different way that you move forward because that person is no longer there. And it's like how can you just live life having someone in your life and then it's just like in a blink of an eye everything changes and everything just turns into a memory and it's like what like you just changed my whole life. How?
Yeah, man. It's tough, man. It's especially when it's unexpected. If it's just something that out of the blue, like you said, it's just it's in an instant. It's just like
Yeah.
forever your life was changed. Like you had no idea that was gonna happen. Like I had no idea, my life would forever be changed. And and it sucks, man, because to this day, to this day, there's those moments where like, man, I wish I could give him a call.
Yeah. I can for sure feel that my stories never really happened like instantly, but like yours was super instant. I bet I can't imagine like that was probably a reality check for you.
Oh, yeah.
But mine have been like little instants like in the future, and it's like my cooking, like my grandma taught me how to do most of my cooking. So whenever I would like be cooking something and I would call her and I don't cook that often. So like if I was cooking rice, I would forget, be like, do I need to put oil in here? Or like I would forget, or like, what do I need to put in here? So I would just call her and be like, hey, what do I put in rice again? And then she would just walk me through the steps. or like she would just like random like this. I don't know why, but this would always happen when I was cutting fruit. She would always FaceTime me. Like I don't know if she knew or if it just always played out, but every time I was cutting watermelon, she would just FaceTime me. Because during quarantine is when she got like, or right before COVID, she got an iPhone and she discovered about FaceTime, and then like it happened in like quarantine, and like she was FaceTiming us like all the time. I know she would FaceTime me at least like 2 to 3 times a day, but I know she was FaceTiming like my cousins, my mom, like she was just FaceTiming everyone. But she would FaceTime me, and I remember there was one time I was cutting a watermelon, and someone called me, and it was through FaceTime, and I was like, oh my God, it's my grandma. And I got so excited, and I picked up the phone, and it was still exciting because it was my cousin and she has like babies. So I was able to see like her babies and talk to her. But it was like that sense of like, I like thought my grandma was calling. I was like, oh my God, she can like, and she would like walk me through, and she would like tell me I was doing it wrong, like how to do it right. And like, it was just that sense of like, oh my God, she's calling again. We're about to have like a call. She's about to make me laugh. And then it was like, nah, that's not happening. Like,
yeah, man, it's those little things, man. Those little things that and it's not that you take for granted, but it's just something you truly cherish a whole lot more.
Yeah. It's like a memory it's more than just a memory. It's like, it's a magic moment to you.
For sure, man. For sure.
Yeah. So is there any other questions that you'd have to ask?
Yeah. So, I mean, I know, and this was, I mean, part of me knowing this about you, and part of me, when I listened to that podcast, it was something I really liked that what you and Barbara, and I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but I probably missed it. But I mean, what y'all both were talking about is, how y'all grew in times of difficulty. Like, it's often those times, like y'all said, it's the most tragic things are the toughest times. And that's something I like to preach, the beauty in the struggle, man. Like, and it's not, necessarily right away. It's not like you're going to hit rock bottom. You're going to be, beating
You're going to hit the bottom, and you're going to be like, this is the bottom. And then you realize that there's another bottom.
Yeah. So it's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better. But as soon, and like I remember you saying it, but as soon as you, realize you can come up out of this, like you just succeed so much further than you ever thought you could go. And so it's like, it's like those tough times that make us who we are. And so Tupac, and I'm sorry, I know we're running this long, but I mean, Tupac.
No. We could talk for hours.
Totally fine. I'm just worried about our views on YouTube, man. I want to get some views. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'll get some views for sure. I actually, this is totally off topic. Do not forget about what we're talking about. Okay. I would totally just go on another topic. But I already forgot what I was gonna say. Oh. All right, go ahead.
No, anyway, so Roses Through the Concrete. So Tupac Shakur, I believe, wrote a poem. It's called Roses Through the Concrete. And the whole idea of it is everybody can, blossoms into a rose, no matter what. Some people have a better environment where they're watered and they get sunlight, they get proper sunlight, whatever, and they grow up and bloom beautifully. Nothing wrong. But then you have these roses that make it through the concrete, and they come up damaged. The petals might be lost, or they just might be, missing petals, damaged petals. But you can still admire their beauty. In fact, they're more beautiful because despite the terrible environment they grew out of, they still became a rose. And there's a professor on this. His name is Michael Jeffrey Duncan Andrade, and he's somebody I studied in college. And he uses that poem and that mindset of roses through the concrete. And I don't know, and I'm not a Cardi B fan by any means, but in one song, I want to say it's the song I Like It Like That or whatever, she references roses through the concrete. And that was like the one time I kind of gave Cardi B my nod. I'll give you that one. But
Cardi B goes hard when I'm working out, dude. I be throwing down to Cardi B. You put that song on by Cardi B, it's a whole different pump.
I mean, there you go, man. I mean, she's not really my style, but I do have that song downloaded. I like it like that, just because she got me. She won me with that line. But it's one of those things. Like, it's cool to see somebody reference that, and what it's talking about is. You got these people, and it's kind of the students I work with, and my non-traditional students, they come in with a lot of tragic events that either happen to them or they just have a rough home life. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but think about somebody who's not comfortable being at home or can't be themselves at home or just worried about other things. And this kind of goes back to the teaching thing. Like if I got a student who's worried about where the next meal is going to come from, like how the hell am I going to get them motivated to learn algebra? There's no way. So
they're gonna focus on math in school when they got other
right, man. It's like, and how can you expect them to? It's like they got bigger fish to fry. Yeah. So it's like, so it's one of those things that you admire the ones who come out damaged because they've had to come through a lot more. And it makes them even more beautiful. So that's the whole concept of my beauty in the struggle. It's like,
yeah,
have a beautiful rose either way. And don't let that define you. Let it make you better. Let it show it off. Like you came through it.
Yeah.
You still blossomed, even though you had this rough environment. So my question for you is, as a young adult, former, recent high school graduate, high school student, because I work with these kind of students every day.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'm questioning, how can I be a better support system? So as somebody who during high school, when you went through a rough time in your life and you dealt with some things and you maybe handled it in a way that you kind of like look back on and like, man, I wish I didn't do that, or I really messed up, or I did some bad things. But the fact that you're here now and you made it out throughout that, especially through that such a tough time, like what kind of support would you have needed from an educator? If I had a student, if I had you during that time, because I got you a little bit after you were kind of already on the come up. But if I had you during that time of your darkest, deepest, worst, absolute, bottom, like what kind of support would you need or want from a teacher? And
all right.
Yeah. So how can I do that for students who are going through something?
Yeah, for sure. I got you. I first want to start off by saying that your passion for teaching is unbelievable, and I truly admire it, just because no teacher is going to ask how they can improve in their working environment, especially to a student, someone who's basically a student. I just graduated like literally months, and you are working to become better for your working environment. And I really admire that about you, because I don't think I've ever had any teacher I've ever even seen that. So I really admire that about you. But I'll answer the question, but I'm gonna go on a little, like kind of like a little tangent. I guess just for those who don't know, because I don't really think a lot of people do know. Whenever my sophomore year, I was really close to my grandpa. I have a tattoo right here. It says "hug me." That was actually his last words that he said to me. Besides, like, "I love you," but like, "I love you." He said that more often. He was like a real macho man. Like he was just like real. He was a vato. Like he was vato. Like there was no way I was getting hugged from him. And then he told me, he was like, "Give me a hug, like hug me." So like that's something really memorable to me. But anyways, he passed he passed away my sophomore year, and that was something like I really struggled with, just because like I just didn't know what to do. And that was like my guy. That was like, in a way, like I can't say like he was my dad, because like he didn't really like provide for me in a way a dad would, but he was like a dad figure. And it was like really hard, because like I just felt like I was like alone. Like I was like, who do I even talk to? If this was my dog, this is my guy I talked to, like what do I do now? So I leaned to everything I shouldn't have leaned to. I got into some legal trouble, and like legal trouble, like it was like not even like a little case. It was like, what are you even doing with your life? Like what are you doing? And I really questioned myself, and I was at a really bottom. Like I was like at the bottom, and then I realized that there's another level to the bottom, and I reached that level. And then I reached a different level, because it was like, yeah, I'm in legal trouble, but now I just realized like how low I am emotionally and mentally. And it was so like, I guess in a way discouraging, because you're down bad. And like I can't even explain the feeling of down bad. It's a horrible feeling, and you're so hopeless. And I honestly can't even say what is it that changed, like the breaking moment, because I can't tell you. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen in a month. It didn't happen in, I would say it barely happened recently, 2021. I would say I was down bad for 3 years. And I would say in ways that there is still ways that I am still recovering from that. Like it's a never ending healing process. Death, it's just something, it's really hard. And I would say, so I got into some legal trouble, and then I had to deal with like DAP, which is like a discipline school, the non-normal high school. And I would say all the teachers I had, they were phenomenal. They were the best teachers I've ever had. I would say just because they had that, they were able to support me, they were able to encourage me. There's some people I still talk to that to this day from that school that really impacted my life. And I would say just the way that you do it, the way the stories I hear from you is like you're there for them, and that's what matters the most. Because so we're there, like we're there because we have to. We need to get our days, we need to do our stuff. But like at the sometimes like we're not even there ourselves. Like we're so lost in our like you said, like we're lost in our own problems. And like there's a lot of things that like as a male, especially like that you have to grow up and like you can't have emotions. Like that's something I struggled with, especially when I was down. Like it was something super hard, and I was like, I can't have emotions. Like I just got to go through it. This is another day. And I would say just having teachers there and making an amazing day, like making learning fun, making just being there for me, and knowing that if it wasn't just about science or math, like they would ask me and they would be like, how's your day? Like they would genuinely ask. And like I never really told them like what was happening because I wasn't at that level myself, but I just knew I could count on them. And they would give me little talks, like knowing like if they saw that I was having a bad day or I was just down or I wasn't really like feeling myself, like they would give me little talks, like not asking for it. And like I probably, in all honesty, I probably looked like I wasn't listening, but like I was listening, and it really did impact me. And I would say just being more of yourself. Like you don't have to worry about being someone else. You have to be all of yourself because you're an amazing person. The teaching environment that you provided for me when you were my teacher was like phenomenal. You're just an amazing person at heart, and it shows. So I would say just continue being all of yourself. That's what I would say is continue being all of yourself. I guess I guess this is one thing that I want to incorporate in, like this is like a business aspect, but this also goes around for all aspects of life. Like if you want to like I guess receive more, like the secret to living is giving. Like you have to give something, you know what I mean? Like not so much like something materialistic, like you don't have to give someone an iPhone, like give someone your presence, give someone your time, your attention, or maybe just like a little note. That's something I want to start incorporating, like little notes just like to just little customers, like not telling them about it, but just leaving them like a surprise. And like it doesn't have to be something deep, like yesterday you made a joke and it made my day. Like just something small that knows that's, I guess, thoughtful, and it shows that it's like something about them. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah, no, that's good. Thanks, thanks. No, man, I do my best, and I'm not perfect by no means, and human. So have my good days, have my bad, and it's
Yeah.
hard. As teachers, we're supposed to leave it at the door, and I try, and it's I don't know, man. Sometimes I guess, and you said it. You said the teachers probably didn't know you were listening, whatever. And I think that's what makes it so difficult to know if I'm doing it. 'Cause it's like, and
Yeah.
some kids show me all the time, like, yeah, I'm doing what I need to for that kid, and then I have other kids, man. It's like no matter what I tell them, it's like it's the same thing. I don't know if I'm getting through, and I get it. It's a process, and it depends on what level you're at with them and what level of trauma or whatever they're dealing with themselves. But it's just like, and it's kind of bad to say, but it's like it just kind of gets draining because it's like, damn, man, like you don't see any progress. And I
Yeah.
had a professor tell me this, like he had when he left the school that he was at, the kid that he never thought he was making an impact on was the kid that, at the end was like, man, I'm going to miss you. Like, I really appreciate everything you've done. And he was so blown away by it. And that
Yeah.
happened before too, because I think it was when I was at Lehman when it happened. And it was just like, like, really, you're going to miss, or it might have been St. Marcus, but it was like, man, of all the kids, like, you were not the kid I would expect it from. So, and it's hard to keep that grind, man, because you don't get to see the fruits of your labor. And it's just like,
Yeah.
so it's just one of those things that, like you said, I got to stay motivated, got to stay doing my thing. And it's just, I don't know. And I don't think it's so much as like I need a pat on the back or reassurance that I'm doing a good job. It's just one of the things like, man, it's just that makes me feel good if I know I'm helping you.
Yeah. Like you want to be appreciated.
Well, no, not just that. It's just like I want to know that I'm actually doing something. Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying.
actually benefiting from me. Like I can
Yeah.
see, like even if it's something just a smile or something like, hey, that gets me going. Like I mean, and then you get those good moments, like when you get a kid, like I never had a teacher like you, or like I really appreciate how patient you are with me, or like and sometimes it's not even that direct, like because I never had a teacher like you before. It could also be a bad thing. It just depends. Like the kid tell me that a young male, and he earlier this year. He's like, man, Miss Perez, I never had a teacher like you. And I'm just like, dude, like, I don't know what that means, man. Because sometimes we're vibing and sometimes you're over here like, whatever. And it's like, so I was like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? He's like, nah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Like, but it's just I wish with so many kids that I have, like a lot of them need guidance, a lot of them need help, and it's just it's just it sucks, man. Like it's something I wish I could take every single one of them under my wing and do what I did with you or do what I do with some of these kids, and it's
Yeah.
it's hard. Not necessarily that I'm not doing it, but just maybe that they just don't show it. And I guess that's something I gotta know. Like, hey, even if they're not showing it, you still gotta do it. And
Yeah.
so don't give up on it, and keep grinding it out.
Yeah, for sure. I would also say like it's not so much that they're like that they don't know like that they're not listening like because like yeah maybe they aren't listening but it's also like that they don't know like it could be also their first time receiving like a genuine love and they don't know how to react to it or they don't know how to feel to it or they're feeling like a feeling of being appreciated wanted and cared for and they don't know like is it like what that feeling is and I know like even myself like having someone like actually care about me, like my first reaction is just like bad. It's just like, what do you want from me? And like I know it's something I'm working on, but it's still like it used to be like super bad. And like now it's kind of like it's still there, like it's in the back of my mind, but it's not as in full effect, but it's still something that like that bothers me. So I can most definitely say that I think just them even being like being appreciated by you and valued by you and like someone who cares enough that wants to teach them and that cares more about like their life, not like it's not just math, like you actually care about them. So they might not even know how to receive that or how to react. So that could be maybe something to look at as well.
Yeah, I didn't even, I didn't even think about that until you said it. You're very right. That definitely could be something that
Yeah.
outside of I remember. That's good. Thank you. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Is there any other questions?
That was the real big one, man. Like I said, like I said, I'm not perfect, and I know
Yeah.
I can do things better all the time.
No one's perfect. And matter of fact, I would say perfection is the lowest standard because we know we can never be perfect. It's physically impossible. So we're setting ourselves up to be okay with failure. And like, yeah, it's okay to fail. And like it's okay because like you're gonna learn from it, but you don't want to set yourself up for failure.
Hmm, hmm. I feel you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
No, yeah. No, see, that is a good thing. It is all right to fail. People do need to know that because
Yeah.
if you've not failed, you never succeeded. So
Yeah. You have to learning comes from failure.
right, that's it's sad, man. I hate working. I don't hate working with these things. I hate that I have to have students who've had such bad experiences and they don't have that confidence. They don't have. And I told this to a young lady the other day, and I'm like, when I was younger, I was taught that like if you're acting in a play or something, just go up there and do your lines, man. Like, because more than likely the audience doesn't know what the line's supposed to be, so you can mess it up all you want. They would have no idea. They just go with it, man. So
Yeah.
be confident in it. It's when you start, or you're doing a speech, right? It's like when you start stumbling your words, you kind of start like, and
Yeah.
you're kind of messing up, or like you make it obvious. Like, don't make it obvious. If you're gonna mess it up, mess it up. I had a football coach tell me, man, if you're gonna make the wrong block, you better block them all the way to the ground. Like as long as you're doing something,
Yeah.
the mistake and learn from it or whatever. But it's like, hey, what's the worst that can happen? You're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So
And it's
stay
like,
confident.
yeah, I would for sure say like I used to be like that. Like I was like, I'm wrong, but then like you switch the mentality. It's like it's not so much that I'm wrong. It's just I found a way that didn't work and now I can learn from it.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice. I like. Hey, I like. No, actually, I know. Let me write that up real quick.
Yeah. You want me to say it again?
Hold on. Let me record it. Wait. It's recording already, man. Now I need to have it tomorrow because somebody's gonna say something. I'm like, I need to have this ready for them.
So it's not all right.
No, yeah, go for it. I'm ready.
It's not that you didn't find it's not that you failed or you did it wrong. It's that you found a new way that didn't work and you're gonna learn from that experience.
Yeah, I like that. See, that's math all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. That's a good way to put it. Though. Like just any way I can get them, because I have those people who kind of answer my questions Like it's a question like 3 or
Yeah, I definitely do that in school all the time. I feel like I would do it personally just so I could trigger a conversation so we didn't have to do work in class. But
hey, now, well, it's a little bit different when it's one-on-one. So
yeah.
it's funny.
They would actually like I'm really like especially like in high school, like I really didn't really talk unless I was talked to. But like once I started talking, like it was kind of hard to get me to stop talking. But like I'm really like I guess in a way I'm timid and I kind of still am. Like I'm just not gonna go up to you and talk to you, even though like I want to, like I want to go up to you and start a conversation, but I'm probably not. I'm just not at that level yet. But in high school, they would the people if like they didn't want to work, they would ask me, they'd be like, hey, talk to the teacher today. And like most of the times, like I'd say I was 75%. Like I would make it happen. Like they would just tell me, talk to the teacher, and I could talk to the teacher, so we didn't have to do work. It was like I would take it as a skill, to be honest.
All right, so be honest, how many times did you try to do that mic once?
I did. I was actually pretty successful a couple of times. I think I only did it like 4 times.
Only 4.
Only four. I did it a lot in my science classes.
Dang, that's funny though. No, I mean that's it. It's funny, man. I do like getting off topic sometimes. Kids still do it. Like I don't know if they do it on purpose or whatever, but it's pretty easy to get me off topic if you know what to talk about. So
yeah,
but that's funny though. I feel like I got played now. Nah.
Yeah, now you're gonna be looking out all paranoid.
Nah, man. These kids are all these kids. It's one-on-one, man. They can be so many different conversations going on. Like it's crazy, but that's the thing. Like so, that's why it's easier for me to like answer more confidently because you're right, or even if you're wrong, it's all right. We just gotta find the right answer. So
yeah,
I like that, man. But yeah, no, that's all I had for you.
yeah. So is there anything you'd like to say? Any advice do you like to give me to the people listening? Just anything in general?
Man, keep on doing what you're doing, man. Just keep on, bringing the good vibes. And I told you this when you graduated in that little graduation video. Like, no matter what it is you end up doing, like, just be you. You inspire a lot of people, motivate a lot of people. It's just good to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Good energy. Like I told you, every time you go into a room, there's just energy about you, and people can vibe off it.
Yeah.
It's energy, and so I really like that about you. I love this podcast. If you let's do it again, man. So
yeah, for sure. I definitely. Hopefully this is not the last one will be on Zoom, but this will be the last one. Me and you will be on Zoom. Like it'll be optional. Like Zoom will be optional. Like we'll be full hybrid for the next time. I definitely want to have you on again, but hopefully next time it'll be with mics. You'll be in person. It'll be that more deeper connection.
But I really appreciate it, and it was a good conversation. I got a lot out of it.
For sure, I as well got a lot out of it.
Good. No, just keep it up, and I'm proud of you. And yeah, man, I just look forward to keep seeing you grow, and I'm glad we stay in touch to this day. And even though you graduated, I haven't had you in a year and a half as my student, so for us to still be talking. And I was actually talking to one of my students about you today because I told him I was going to be on your podcast today, and she thought it was so badass that I was going to talk to my student. She thought it was badass that my student who cuts my hair is a former student, my barber. I'm like, yeah, hell, like if I can support my students in any way, like even after, that's cool. Like I love that. I love seeing them excel, man, whatever it is you do. And it's just a beautiful thing, man. I love it. I love the connection. I love seeing, things play out. So just keep doing you, man. Keep having fun. Keep, living the dream, man. It's
yeah, for sure. You got to live it up.
Yeah. So
I really appreciate that. That means a lot, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. So thank you for having me, and hopefully we'll get something out of it. And I look forward to the next time we do this, man.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely got something out of it, and I'm pretty sure people will get something out of it as well. It'll be almost impossible to get something out of this.
Right? Yeah, man. Hopefully.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, it was amazing having you. Thank you for your time. That is amazing. It's amazing having you. All right. Thank you for listening. Peace out.